The U.S. Justice Department says it has found more than 1 million additional documents that may be connected to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The discovery delays the full release of the files for several weeks as officials remove sensitive details to protect victims. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration begins releasing Epstein-related investigation files in order to comply with a law passed by Congress last month. Epstein, the late American financier, is known for having friendships with Trump during the 1990s. And for the latest developments, we now speak to Brooks Spector. He's an international relations expert and veteran U.S. diplomat, and he joins us now via our video link. And Mr. Spector, thank you so much for your time. I know that we are expected to speak about Jeffrey Epstein, but there are other U.S. matters, and that pertains to what also happened yesterday on the continent. Perhaps let's start off here. What do you make of those U.S. airstrikes that took place yesterday in the northwest region of Nigeria?
Well, good evening. Good to be with you, and happy day of reconciliation to you and to your listeners and viewers. The airstrikes in Nigeria, apparently there was coordination between the U.S. and Nigeria for this. The part that does concern me is the way in which it has been wrapped around the idea of preventing the persecution and the trauma of Nigerian Christians, when in fact the circumstances of the problems in that part of the country are much more nuanced and have a larger range of causes. The problem arises out of all this, however, is that airstrikes like that will not, at least in the short run, and perhaps not in the long run either, they will not necessarily end the problem, but simply change its dynamics. And that usually means that it ends up with people on what they call boots on the ground, and then that changes the dynamic in enormously different ways. So I think this is, shall we say, performative more than dispositive, and to some degree it's in response to the feelings of evangelical and fundamentalist Christians in the United States that have been calling for this kind of action for some period of time, rather than the specifics of Nigeria, as difficult and as unpleasant as those are.
Yeah. And Mr. Spector, I mean, there's something else taking place in the U.S., and this pertains to those Jeffrey Epstein files. We now know that there is now additional documents which have been found, and we understand at least 1 million documents linked to the late Jeffrey Epstein. What is your reaction to more documents now being uncovered?
Well, I think part of the problem is that once the law was passed that you referred to, it became clear that the first 100,000 pages or so that were issued with those redactions and other lack of clarity, that wasn't going to satisfy the reality of the law. The problem is 1 million pieces of paper is a huge amount of material, and it has to be gone through page after page, screening out the names of alleged victims. I say alleged because there's never, most of them, with the exception of, I think, one person, it's never actually gone to a trial because Epstein, of course, now is dead. And he did end up in prison for the one case. But the Justice Department has basically bobbled this thing badly right from the beginning. If you recall, early on, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, said, I have a file of all this, all of it, right on my desk.
Unfortunately, Mr. Spector, I'm going to have to cut you there. There is some breaking news that we need to go to. And thank you so much for your time this evening. We'll try and catch up with you once again later in the course of the week.